that somewhere to say.
I think that football thing, after seeing Lamar get cut of that, I think that's rigged. You know how many times Lamar got cut?
Well, look, you know, it's the only reason they got it, because Canoga's was.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they see, it was Lamar and Canoga, see, you noticed that.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Here it is.
That sounds like a.
I didn't realize it either until I started looking at the names.
Let's just call them.
Well, that's good. I swear, that's what I so like some burgers.
Yeah, it is. I had
Like chili.
I don't believe that's what it is.
Like a fan belt or something.
It's on the,
I'm still rolling there.
You know, it may be, I just turned my heat on in my office just now.
Yeah. Maybe that's what you know today. Maybe that's what it was. Oh, you sir? I'm good. How was good? Oh, Hawaii? Yeah, it was great. No long run?
How you doing?
Sure. Hey.
I'm doing better.
So,
I'm doing better.
Donald Hampton's wife and my wife were the ones who got this done. Donald and I went for
You won't get too realized.
3.5 days.
Thank you. That's okay.
They had us after door at 6 a.m. this morning.
Oh, wow.
Donald, that's the second day when I was still going to that work this way.
But I'm still a chicken. I don't know.
I'm not worried about whether you saw Elvis down there or not. Did you see Lilo and Stitch? That's what.
You know, in all seriousness, it was the last day I was there was the first day I saw where we were staying in daylight.
Yeah, them hopping. I did win some prizes over there that we bid on.
Yeah.
I think you
I got one. There's a pretty neat stuff over there, actually. That's what I did.
Good, how are you?
Drawing. Touchdown.
Did they, was it 4 of them and they split?
Yeah. You know, they come down to the 9 and they could split, but Neil Smith, he decided he wasn't gonna split. And he said, unless they'll draw my name out, you draw 4 more before. If I'm still in there, you gotta draw 4 more. So, just by luck, he stayed in there until it got down to 4. And then he said, I'll split.
Oh, Neil's a good boy.
Yeah, Neil's
So,
good.
well, they got it.
He does good. And look, all the ones that won money,
Yeah.
they have given money. Because all those business, Neil, he's probably got $5,000.
That's what you are.
Yeah. That's right.
You know, it's a big old break.
Stephanie got her fellow house, she bought 5 tickets.
Yeah. Look, I had one with all my grandkids, and all of them. I had to wait to pick it up. I didn't get nothing out of it. I didn't win like you. But look, you know, it's more than just playing football. I think
I've heard a story like that.
a lot of the kids this day gives them opportunities that they otherwise don't have. Some of them, you know, they're trying to look forward a lot of that. A lot of the kids play football. You know, we feed them. Sometimes that's the only meal they get. They're gonna leave it before we feed them before we sit down and practice. Go home.
Just candy. In his uniform, you know, more of that.
There's a lot of it, man.
That's really.
I mean, there's more of it.
They drove past some guards.
Right.
But
I just realized I had a very sheltered existence.
And the other part of the group that our passed this out, he was telling me about what they had at school, so I explained to him what he was actually. Now he's lives with us, what he's a part of, that group. But even him, like, he didn't know that was.
So where were we?
Well, you know, it's like,
Oh, okay.
Melissa,
It's always
she's doing it like several families, you find out now, just the city now, they living with their grandparents, parents, or whatever, and they have no beds. They had a mattress on the floor, had no beds.
Oh, yeah, Some ladies, it's all. Sometimes they get up and close the door, so then they see them. Other times, yeah. They keep busy.
Is that right?
Bill's at a Costco.
Go talk to Sam.
At a national holiday plan,
Yeah.
yeah.
Bruce, it's going out there.
Fairly reasonable condition.
Traffic, you know,
We're right there on.
figuring it out, yeah.
Walmart's been pretty good.
Yeah, Walmart's doing good.
They do that shop with a cop, they give them everything, basically.
I just wish we had some of them folks in the county.
I think, I know we'll probably hear about it, what day is it, tomorrow? No, Wednesday at the education, state of education. I
Yeah.
always talk about how many homeless kids we have.
Well, you know, the Golden Picture did money for.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
If you would, yeah.
Didn't realize it. Thank you.
Oh, I feel better, I'm
That's the last part.
get pancreatitis, and just.
I will be there, to about training and for that. But I'll let you guys know.
The rest of this stuff, like, breathing stuff.
Yeah. So what did they do? Are you getting over it then?
Well, I'm over that.
Yeah.
They the information is not there, and, I had a choice, I either
Maybe too wet for
try the chemo at a low level, or if it gets bad, I just quit, but the alternative to quitting is,
Yeah.
so, I'm gonna try it out, see how it goes.
Okay.
But I ain't going back to the hospital.
Never say never.
I know, but you know, I just got so sick in my stomach, I just got, the worst part of it, it totally dehydrated, and not eating. Lord.
Well, I tell you, you sound like you're a little bit hoarse,
I am.
and I will tell you what I've expressed to Christina. I done it during the touchdown club, and I tell Dennis a minute ago, Saturday night, had I not known what you've been through, I couldn't have told you were sick of it. I said, the man talked for 3 straight hours on the microphone. Called every name. How many tickets y'all have?
We have 300.
300, and you repeated that name 3 times
I know.
for 3 straight hours. And I said, Brian, look,
As long as I can sit
Never
down,
know.
I can sit down and do it, I can't stand up and do it.
well,
But I enjoyed it, and I told him that's the last time I'm doing that anyway.
all right, well, we're gonna go ahead and get started so we can try to get out of here to a decent hour.
Yep.
Please stand for the pledge. Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. My heat must be what's controlling this, because when I turn mine on, I feel it in here now. Gentlemen, before you, I'm sorry, I call to order the Madison County Board of Commissioners Public Business Meeting, October 27th, 2025 at 6:02 p.m. Got ahead of myself right there, my phone won't quit, I apologize. Approval of minutes on September 29th, 2025, and minutes of October 6th, 2025 agenda setting work session. If you don't see any discrepancies, gentlemen, I will entertain a motion. If you do, please point those out.
Motion approved.
So,
Motion by Commissioner Doster, second by Commissioner Adams. Any discussion, gentlemen? Hearing none. Commissioner Adams?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Business involving guest groups and multiple visitors. UGA Extension Office quarterly update. Ms. Emily Williams, Family and Consumer Science Agent.
Yeah.
All right.
How's
it going?
It's going good, how are y'all? Good to see you, staying warm as much as possible. But glad to see you all. I'm here on behalf of our entire office here at the Extension Office. Travis is out with a new baby. I don't know if y'all already know that, but congratulations to them.
As of when?
Early October.
Okay.
Yeah. So he's got a new son. So now they have their hands full.
You tell him so, congratulations.
All right, will do. So I'm just here to kind of highlight a few things from our all sides. Travis, he's held some pesticide license education courses, and then for me, I've had some food safety courses at the senior center. Also started my first major program, which is the Walking for Wellness program that started at the end of September, and that's an 8-week program. So that's been going well. I've also held a heart disease prevention class and series here at the government complex that I wrapped up last couple weeks ago. But I specifically want to highlight some good things that have been going on in 4-H because we have a major accomplishment with that group. We had a group compete at the Georgia 4-H State Food Challenge, and there were 3 groups that competed, but the senior group actually won first place. And also became Master 4-Hers, which, if you're not aware, that is a huge accomplishment that takes years to achieve, dedication and leadership. And that competition itself is really challenging for them because they don't know what they're cooking when they get there. They just give them mystery ingredients, and then they have to make it on the spot and explain like nutritional value and all the components to that meal that they create. But they won first place in their age group and are advancing to the national competition, which will be in October or next fall in Texas. So I just wanted to highlight that accomplishment because that is huge. And those members that competed and are going to national include Bailey Bennett. She's in 10th grade, C.A. Duncan of 11th grade, and 11th grader Savannah McDaniel. So if you know them, congratulate them because that's a huge accomplishment. So I just wanted to highlight that. And then third one is Savannah McDaniel, 11th grader. Yes. It's also a huge accomplishment for Michaela as well, our 4-H agent. So that's the big thing I wanted to share with you all. And I also wanted to share our office hours for the holiday schedule. We'll be closed on November 27th and 28th for Thanksgiving, and then we'll be closed December 24th through January 1st for the Christmas break. So. All right. Thank you.
Gentlemen, you have any questions?
Yeah.
No, but I can say as a father of a Master 4-H'er and as a neighbor of another, there was only 3 H's when she was in it then.
Right.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah.
We're certainly proud of her young people.
Yes.
Thank you for all you do with it.
Yes, absolutely. They worked hard and they spent a lot of time preparing, so they definitely deserve it. And they got a whole another year to prepare. So anyway, thank you.
Quick question.
Yeah.
Do you all, I noticed some dates and times for different things back here.
Okay.
Do you all happen to send these over to Lacey Baker to have them put them on our website, or?
I have to check with Carrie, but for the most part, I think we do, but if not, we'll make sure to get them all out, yeah.
Yeah, we just want to keep it fresh.
Okay.
For notices and calendar events, because
Right.
a lot of people use our website to get to yours,
Gotcha.
or we hope they do.
Yeah.
So we just want to make sure all that.
Okay, I'll make sure that happens, yes. I'm sure it does, but I'll make sure it does.
All right.
But thank you.
Sounds great. Thank you, and have a good evening. Be
All right.
safe travel.
Thank you.
Serve line by Home Serve, Dan Dansby. It don't look like Dan's here.
He's on his way. He said he got stuck in traffic. He said about 5 minutes late. So
That's fine. We'll just swap it up a little bit right here, and I'll move on to the chairman's report right fast. So first off, I want to start off with the chairman's report by announcing that Commissioner Kirk is back with us tonight and doing well, and we are very thankful to have him here tonight. It means a lot to me personally, but to the citizens of District 4, Ryan's killed, doing a great job. Bobby Smith. So Madison County, this was a grant program that our EMS worked through with Christina and our building maintenance, but we have added 15 new AEDs with pediatric capabilities to go along with the ones we already had throughout the county. Our maintenance crew installed 15 new wall mounts throughout the courthouse and other facilities for existing AEDs and 7 new devices. We have also installed 8 save stations at strategic locations throughout the rec facilities. These save stations have automatic call capabilities that notifies 911, rec department director, EMS director. When these devices are opened, they take a photo of the person opening the cabinet with an audible alarm that can only be turned off by EMS. All of this was made possible through the National Opioid Settlement Funds at no cost to the county. We will also be providing at no cost to the county Narcan at every location for emergency use where we have installed an AED. The current locations for the new smart save stations is the old Danielsville gym. Gentlemen, y'all may have saw it right out back when you get in your car tonight. It's probably going to be glowing because it's lit. Mize Park concession stand, Diamond Hill concession stand, Sammy Haggard upper concession stand and office building, lower concession stand, maintenance building, Sammy Haggard Park soccer fields, splash pad bathroom building, and Brewer Phillips concession stand. Just trying to get these out there, and they've done a really good job of getting this and taking advantage of these opioid funds for potentially a safer Madison County.
Todd, you also have one at the senior center and one in the art park.
That's right, we do. And speaking of the senior center, quickly remind me how many new applicants y'all had last month? 15 or 18?
I was gonna say, they keep coming in by the threes, but at least 15 that I can think of. I lose count.
We're reaching record numbers at the senior center right now.
Men are coming in.
Yeah.
Our oldest one being 99.
99.
And if you check some of our videos, if any of us can keep up with him when we're 99, we will consider it a real good day.
Well, I appreciate that, and I try to share all the videos because a lot of them are hilarious. It's just a lot of interaction, and I think to spread the word. So for some of you that may or may not be on social media, if you have an opportunity to share those senior center videos, please do it. Early voting for the November 4th election continues through Friday, October 31st from 8 a.m. till 5 p.m. Christina voted around 4:45 today, and you were number what, 500 and what?
553.
She was number 553 out of 20,000 registered voters. So we need you to show up in strong force. Currently,
they had early voting all last week too.
Yeah.
That's after a week of early voting.
Yeah, this is the last week, but it's going to be a dampening week due to the rain. But I will tell you what is on that is an election for the city of Carlton. The Public Safety Commissioner is on that, and Splosh is on that. So that's the only 3 things on the ballot for Madison County. Y'all set your calendars for November 8th. The Madison County Public Safety Toy Ride and Car Show starts at 10:30. You may have seen these around our county. This is a huge event. It'll be held here at Memorial Park in Danielsville. The toy ride is $20 per bike or car show. Car show prizes start at 2 p.m. A new unwrapped toy registration begins at 10:30 a.m. Kickstands for the motorcycles are up at 12. Whether you ride or just eat, fellowship, contribute to a great cause, come and enjoy the day, support the kids, participate in raffles, drawings, door prizes, music, food, and a great ride. Please mark your calendars for this. This is very important. For all of these toys does go to needy kids in our county. Fall recycling event, Saturday, November 15th, 2025. We will probably announce this again at the first meeting. Madison County Government Complex, join us as we celebrate America Recycles Day and take advantage of ridding your home of unwanted items. Document shredding, medication take back, batteries, chargers, cell phones, ink cartridges, books, clothes, and shoes. And for some that don't know, this would be a great opportunity to get rid of your unwanted batteries that goes, lithium batteries that goes in your battery drills, flashlights. Those don't go in the dump. They will catch fire, so they need to be disposed of properly. But we will have an opportunity to get rid of those here at the courthouse from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. November 15th. Now, that'll wrap up my chairman's report, and I will drop back to Mr. Dan Dansby.
Yes.
Sorry you got caught up in traffic.
Yes, I apologize to you all. You all have the presentation up there, so I'll just go off that.
Yeah.
That's a word. I usually don't do a presentation like that, so if I get a little off course, I apologize, but thank y'all for having me here tonight. Like the chairman said, my name is Dan Dansby. I think the last time I spoke to you all was 2 years ago over at the other office, I believe, in regards to this program. But I live up in Chattanooga, so I drove down here, a little bit of traffic in the rain. But I'm here to talk to you about the Serve Line Leak Protection Program and what it can do for you all and your community. So on this slide here, I just want to go over very quickly on some of these slides, but I know you all do a lot of different things, as the chairman was just kind of talking about some of the things you all have going on, but you have lead and copper, you have like PFAS, you have water testing, you have meter upgrades. You all do a lot of different things for the community, and you do rate studies, you provide water. You touch everybody that's in your community, just about, right? You know, that you provide water to, and you all are making your updates and doing everything you're supposed to do. But a lot of times, one of the things that gets forgotten about is customers paying for high water bills due to leaks, and it's stressful when it happens. So that's mainly what I want to talk about. I know you have many of those things that you do, but I want to talk about the leak adjustment part of it. So leaks can be painful for you all as the board members, and for your staff, and then for your customers, right? When they get a high water bill, I'm sure your staff or even board members, I'm sure you've received a phone call about a $1,000 water bill, and what can the board do for me? Or it's a conversation of, I don't think the staff is really wanting to help me as much. Or it's sending out a truck to determine that, hey, this leak is not on, the utility side, it's on the customer side, and having to explain that and educate them on their responsibilities and letting them know you're going to have to pay this high water bill. So it's stressful all the way around for your homeowners, for your customers, or for you as the board and your staff. We'll move down to the next slide. So when I was putting this together, I was looking at kind of what you all do. If a customer gets a $1,000 water bill right now, a lot of times what I'm seeing is they're going to have to pay it with you all because they get one every 3 years, right? And so when they call in, they have a $1,000 water bill. If they're not eligible for an adjustment, you all are going to put them on a payment plan. So that means they're going to pay whatever their average is plus whatever that may be. So if they call in right now for a $1,000 water bill and their average is $50, you're going to try to break that up over a 6-month, 12-month time frame, whatever it may be, to say this is how much you're going to have to pay each month. So that's 50 plus another 50 or 100 or whatever it may be that they're going to be paying each month until they can get that paid. A lot of times that's stressful. And when we look at it as you're waiting on your revenue. You all purchase around 50% of your water, and if you're waiting for your customers to give you that, that means that you're actually loaning out the water you've already paid for at 0% interest, right? So we want to see if we can make that a little bit better for you. I'm moving on to the next slide. And I'm going to skip that one because I kind of went over there a little bit. This right here, this is a a report from the EPA's website that 1 trillion gallons are leaked out of household leaks every single year. 1 trillion gallons every single year will be leaked out, whether that's a toilet, whether that's the water lines from the meter to the home, whatever it may be. But that's equaled up to the uses of 11 million homes. What does that mean for you all when your customers have those leaks, right? So, and I put on here, it's a question, but I already know what the answer is. What is your leak policy? And currently, what you all's leak policy is, like I just stated, you do one every 36 months. One every 36 months. And then it's not that you're writing off 50% or 75%. You all do a calculation. So that means your staff is coming up with that calculation every single time. They're looking through the history for the customer to see, okay, what's your 12-month average? When's the last time you had an adjustment? Okay, this is what we can do for you. Or, hey, we can't make an adjustment this time because you had one 24 months ago. We can put you on a payment plan, and this is what this payment plan is going to look like. You're going to go through all of that currently. What our program does is just tries to make it very simple, very, very easy for your staff to handle, for you all to handle, and for your customers to use. It's simple. They get a $1,000 water bill, and their average is $50. We send $950 directly to your staff. That customer just pays their average of $50. There's no calculations that you got to go through to see, okay, what are we going to try to adjust this down to try to help them? It's just flat across the board. I'll move on to the next slide. So what does that do? How can we be a total solution for you? As I just stated, when your customers call in right now, they're going to call into your staff and say, I received this high water bill, whatever it is. Well, with us, they can call in to us in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and say, I received a $1,000 water bill. My average is $50. And Madison County said that I have a leak insurance that's going to pay for this for me. Kind of that simple. You know, they call into us rather than calling into your staff. When they call into us, we send an email directly over to your staff to say, you know, this customer called in, we're going to be filing a claim for them. Can they pay their average as we work on processing this claim? And the reason we do it that way is we do it over 2 billing cycles. We can move on to the next slide. We do this over 2 billing cycles. So when we do this over 2 billing cycles, most of the time when a customer receives a high water bill is when they know they have a leak. And you all may be able to notify them ahead of time, but a lot of times that one billing cycle started, the next billing cycle that one billing cycle is finished, the next billing cycle is going to start. So we make sure that we cover 2 billing cycles for every leak that we pay for. So they get one adjustment over a 12-month time frame over 2 billing cycles. So we'll process that claim form. We'll send the email over and say we're processing this, and go from there. You can keep going. Sorry. So that's kind of how that program works in a nutshell, and I'll get more into it. The benefit for this is recapturing lost revenue. As I was talking to some of your staff in regards to this, when we put this program together, it started in Chattanooga, Tennessee, with utilities and board members just like you all. We're partnered with Georgia Rural Water here to offer this program. In Tennessee, we call it TAUD. I don't know why they have a different name other than rural, but they're the ones that started this program with us, along with utility and board members just like you all. And they did it because they were making adjustments for customers, and they were writing off 50%, 75%, 25%, and we're all doing different things. Some of them just said, we're not doing it at all anymore because they're writing off too much money. Some of them changed it up and did what you all are doing, one every 3 years, but their customers were still frustrated. Their staff still had to deal with this. So they came up with this insurance policy, and all that we're doing is insuring the revenue that's at risk. So when that water is produced or purchased and it goes through the meter, it's at risk for that customer to pay for it or not. They may up and leave. So they get a $1,500 water bill, they may just leave. So the benefits of this program is to recapture lost revenue from adjustments and from bad debt, which was kind of a byproduct. At the beginning, they didn't say, oh, this will help you with some of your bad debt, but what all of our partners have told us is that this actually helps with our bad debt. We have less customers that will just up and move because they have a $2,000 water bill that they can't pay for. So that's one of the benefits for the utility as a whole. The other is to reduce the staff workload dedicated to leak adjustments. And for you all, I may not say that it's leak adjustments, I think it's more payment plans that you're having to keep up with. And sometimes that's even worse than leak adjustments because you're calling after they didn't pay. How much are you going to pay? Are you going to pay? You know, and that some of them will tell you straight up, no, I'm not. And they go live with someone else and you never receive that revenue at all. So that back and forth that your staff has to have with the customers, we take on that. And then increase the customer satisfaction part of it as well. The other part is the benefit to the customers. We give up to $2,500 protection. Like I said, there's no deductible. So when I talk about insurance, we're not talking about car insurance or homeowners insurance or medical insurance, whatever. We're not talking about that. We created this with the utilities in mind. There is no deductibles. When they use it, we typically don't see a rate increase. And if we do a rate increase, we would let you know 90 days before, and you would be locked into the rate that you're in right now, right? And we would give you the data to say, this is why we need to increase this by 5 cents or 10 cents or something like that. But you're not talking about, oh, we got to increase this by $2 or $3 or something like that. But we would educate you all and say, is this okay? And here's the reason why, to give you the data on that. I haven't seen us do a rate increase for any of the partners that I have, and I work throughout the South, and I've been doing this for 5 years. So that's in Georgia, that's in Alabama, that's in Mississippi, Louisiana, South Carolina. We haven't had a rate increase with the partners that I have. We can keep going. So just to emphasize on this, what is the benefits? How does this work? One is 100% reimbursement for water loss. Right now, you're not getting 100% of your revenue back when a customer has a leak, a qualified adjustment. You're getting a small percentage of that, and then your staff is also calling and going back and forth with customers. So you're losing time and revenue, or resources, I should say, to leak adjustments or payment plans. So what we want to do is get 100% reimbursement for water loss and at no cost to the utility. There's absolutely no cost to you all. This is a cost to your customers, but ultimately it's their responsibility. And I'm going to keep going there. You can stay on that slide. The cost of this program, which I know a lot of people are wondering that, and it's on the sheet that you have there, it's typically between $1 and like $2.35 a month. Not something that's expensive. Try to keep it as low as possible for all your customers there. So it's something that all different levels should be able to enroll or obtain this coverage. It's a simple implementation of this program. There's 2 different ways that we do it with utilities. It's about 50% do it one way, 50% do it another way. And that is to include it into their base rate. Some utilities will say, look, this is our new leak adjustment policy. We're going to start it in 90 days. We're going to send a letter out and educate them on their responsibilities, and that this program is going to start in 90 days. If you all decide to do that, you can. Some do it as a line item, so the customers can call in to us and say, hey, I know that the utility is updating their leak adjustment policy in 90 days, but I don't want that coverage. I want to be 100% responsible for high water bills. And so they can opt out of that and call us and say, I don't want it. They won't ever be billed for it. 3 months later, they can call back and say, you know what, such and such used that. They got a $2,000 water bill paid for $1.75 or $2, whatever it is. I think I do want that. Can you re-enroll me? And they can re-enroll in that program at that time. Yeah, we can move on to the next slide. And keep going. Right here, we stop right here. So the implementation of the program. When I say send those letters out, we pay for that as well. So we create that, we send it back to you, your staff, your board, chairman, for your approval. So, but we actually pay for that letter to go out. We typically like it to go out with the utility bill, so your customers will actually open it and read that and be educated on it. We can create whatever we need to put on your website so they can be educated that way as well, so they know, hey, starting in 90 days, this will be our new leak adjustment policy. And when I say leak adjustment policy, I built this to be similar to what you all currently do, but just enhance it a little bit more If there's anything on there that you're like, hey, I don't like that on the other slide that you have, the proposal that's there, then let us know. Because our standard we cover from the meter to the home, and then anything inside the home. So if it's a leaking faucet, a leaking toilet, something that's dripping, a water hose that's dripping or something like that, a faucet that's dripping, then they can file a claim on that. But if you wanted to cover lines that go out to like a barn or a shed or a cattle trough or something like that, then we can cover that as well. Trying to see, I think that's it there. Keep going. Kind of went over that a little bit. I don't have to go there. I'm gonna keep going. Sorry. Just to give you a little idea of our program here. So we have over 250 partners, and then we have 33 rural water partnerships. So we're partnered with the people who I'm sure your staff works with all the time, and then we're partnered throughout the United States, as well as the National Rural Water Association to offer this program. And we'll keep going there. Yeah, that's it. So on that other sheet that you have there, there's a proposal. It says proposal on it. If you look at that, that will break down what the leak adjustment policy is. It will break down the cost of it. For your residential rate, I think it's like $1.75 for up to $500 worth of coverage. So what that means is if they have a leak that exceeds $500, we would pay $500 to the utility. The customer pay with an average, and then whatever that excess amount is, if you all decided to choose that. If you go with $1,000, I think it's $2, if I'm not mistaken.
Where y'all seeing this?
On the proposal, on the other sheet.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
The third page.
on the proposal, I think it's, yeah, like the third page in, I apologize.
No, I was
So that's the residential rate. You'll see the commercial rate on there as well. I don't remember exactly what the commercial rate is. Commercial rate is usually a little bit higher. It may be the same, but it could be a little bit higher. And we consider churches commercial. Insurance makes us do that. Some utilities we work with, they say, well, we charge them a residential rate. For us, we would have to. We don't cover anything over a 2-inch meter. We haven't figured out how to really do that successfully, because you get a 4-inch, 5-inch that, especially if it's commercial, they may not be there, and that thing runs all night. That gets high really, really quick. So for us, the only ones that would be eligible up to a 2-inch meter. You all decide on which coverage you want. So you can provide this for residential only. You can provide it for residential and commercial. But whatever you all decide is what it would be for all your customers. We don't want one customer to try to enroll in a $500 limit and then another one being enrolled in $2,500. And then when the leak happens, they're like, well, I wanted the $2,500, not the $500. And you get the back and forth there. So whatever you all as the board decides, that's what it would be for all your customers in that category, residential or commercial. You can make that decision there. I think that's it, unless you all have questions for me.
On your rate structure, you show it considerably higher for commercial, but are the limits different?
No, the limits are still the same. You got a $500 limit, a $1,000 limit, or a $2,500. It's still the same limit.
So if they pay triple the bill for the same coverage?
Yes.
Just because I'm commercial?
Yes, because you've got more risk as a commercial. Because at home, more than likely, someone's there, almost 8 hours out of the day. At commercial, that line may be bigger. It may have a lot more going on there. It's just the risk is much higher on your commercial buildings than your residential. But I can see if I can get that the same. A lot of times we do this based on leak data that you have. We customize it with each utility. But if we don't have a lot of leak data on the commercial, it makes it hard for us to determine that. But if that's a concern, then I can definitely look at it and see what we can do for the commercial rate.
The coverage would be for a single event, period?
One adjustment every 12 months, over 2 billing cycles. That's
In other words, I have a leak, I have to get fixed, you will pay for it second time.
That's correct. Now,
In the 12-month period.
in the 12-month period, Now, if you all experience your customers that have more than one leak in a 12-month time frame, then we can also customize it to make it 2 every 12 months over, 2 adjustments over a 12-month time frame. And you're looking at maybe 15, 20 cents more per coverage there. So you're not talking about $1 more or something like that. But that's up to you all. We put it out there. You know your community better than us. In Tennessee, it's standard for us to do 2 now because they were having more. But if you all think so, then we can do that as well.
So I have several questions, because I don't think you was with Servline when we done it at the city of Danielsville.
No.
I'm the one that done the city of Danielsville. At that time, commercial was.
The Servline, the company do it.
Yeah. So, commercial wasn't available at that time. It was just strictly residential because of a lot like power companies. If you're on commercial power, even though you're probably not using any more than a guy that lives in the house beside you, your power bill's still almost double or triple.
Yep.
Just because you're on commercial rates. But it is good to know that there is a commercial rate out there up to at least a 2-inch meter, because we have a lot of businesses that still are 1-inch meter that are business that would not have qualified at the time. I don't know if Danielsville knows this, y'all might want to know that it is available now.
Yeah,
But I think most all of those guys are on 1 inch or below. Go back to, so the letter to the customer, our water bills are a pre-stamped bill.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way to, there's no envelope that another letter can be attached. It would have to be a separate letter.
Right.
And that wouldn't be a problem, I'm assuming.
No, so majority of our partners have that same type of.
Yeah.
So what we do is we created a clear envelope and we send it to your staff. So then with the letter, so all they would have to do is put that, that card in there, and then it goes out. Any extra charges, we cover that.
I'd be a little scared of inserting our bill into your letter, because they may think it's junk mail and throw it away and not read the bill.
And so
probably staple it to it, maybe, I don't know. But
however you want to do it, we can. And
or maybe it'd be better just to address them directly and straight out, skip our process altogether.
And we can do that too. So we have a vendor that we can send that and make sure it goes out to all the customers as well. However you all want us to do that, we can. So if it's better to do it separate, we can. If it's better for you to staple it on there, and then however you want it, you can make it work.
So in 2015-16, when we done it in the city, we chose a route for an opt-in, and we opted the whole city in. And then if you were a customer and you chose not to be in, you contacted us to opt out. It was easier to do a blanket in with an option out rather than an opt-in, opt-out every other day. It was just a smoother process. And once we did, like you, explain this, I don't think we had anybody opt out, maybe 2 in the first year opted out. And then I think one of the 2 had a leak and then got mad because he opted out.
Yeah,
just to be honest.
So we see, and I didn't go over that on there, we see about a 98% participation with all the partners.
Yeah, I noticed that on one of the documents. It said 98%.
Yeah, it's like, it ranges from like 96 to 98 is what we see. And mainly what you see, even if you see people opt out before they understand what they have. That's what you see. You see people upset and opting out because they think they're getting something that they don't need or won't ever use. But they hear somebody use it, or they get the leak, and then they call back like, I want it. So with this program, it is the same way where it's 100% enrolled. We just send that letter out to them to let them know, hey, this is going to start in 90 days.
Correct.
If you do not call in, you are going to be enrolled in this program. And you'll have some that may call in and say, what is this, to your staff? They can simply transfer them, and we can create an IVR system or whatever it is to have them transferred over to hotkey, I should say.
The majority of the questions we got was, what is this? What is this new line item on my bill? Because that's what it was. We added a line item on the bill that said a flat, whatever, $250. and they would question. And once we explained it to them, it was never another problem. We did have to say we opted everybody in, you had to opt out. But I've got another question on the actual repairs, because we were talking about this before the meeting. So correct me, if there is a repair, a line is broke in the yard, and if the homeowner at that time could get estimates on the repair, they mail that in to you guys to pay for the repair, or is it strictly the leak? Because there's a cloud right there.
Yes, so before, and that was probably before 2020, we changed that up.
Okay.
Because that was making a lot of the claims number a lot higher. So it's like, okay, how do we make it a little different from the leak compared to the repair? So now they're totally separate. Okay, so with this, the leak adjustment would be the only thing that goes on the utility bill. Okay, and we send that check to you, right? So that's that part. The repair side is something that we would mail out totally separately. They have to call in to enroll in. Okay. And we would find local area licensed plumbers to make the repairs.
That's much simpler.
Yes. So with that program, and I don't think I put any of that in there. With that program, that's billed directly to us. They have to call in, they have to send a letter back in, they have to go online to enroll in that program. They need a claim, they call us in Chattanooga to file that, and we find local area licensed plumbers to make the repairs. We don't have to reimburse them anymore, send a check to them. We just find the plumber, send them out there, that plumber bills us.
Well, because that's how you go ahead, sir.
So how do you communicate that to them as far as like there is a option to have you repaired that you can opt into? Do you send out a separate letter?
Totally separate letter, totally separert time. Usually we don't start these at the same time.
So that'll become sometime afterwards. I don't know that.
Yes, sir.
So the object for the county though would be to make sure that repairs are made so we don't continue to have the next month's high bill that will not be forgiven.
That's correct.
Okay, that's why it's a key component. And I did like it the first time that way, but there was a lot of miscommunication as to far as, do you get to fix? You know, this is what I'm hearing. Hey, I thought your guys was coming to fix it. No, we don't fix that side. You go out and get an estimate. You bring us the estimates. We send them in, and then they will approve for the repairs. So I'm glad that y'all have a hold. We can take us out of the middle of that, because that was a lot of controversy.
Yes.
And we're sticking to the easy part.
Yes. So they, because of that, just so if there's issues, we figure out a way to change stuff up. But because of that, that it makes it they think, oh, I called in already and I've been waiting on someone to come out. No, we want to make sure that you called in for the leak adjustment, we're paying for the leak. So that over here is totally separate, and we make sure that they know that the letters that go out on there, you see it says serve line, which I have serve line and home serve. The letters that go out will be framed totally different.
I'm going to go a little bit deeper on that. So if there's a leak, and we know there's a leak, it's been claimed, there's let's just say a 2-week window before you can get repairs made, and that bill rises again. Homeowner's responsibility for that rise, even though it was during the claim time?
No. So that's why we cover over 2 billing cycles. So they call in and say, hey, I received a high water bill, whatever it may be. The utility called me and said that I have some type of leak. I can't get a plumber to come out for another 2 weeks. The next billing cycle is going to start. We make sure we're covering that next billing cycle. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. But it might be 60 days.
It might be, right. Now, if it goes past 60 days, actually, if it goes past 90 days, we can't cover any further than that. That's standard for us.
But that's on you because you didn't get a contractor there to fix it, or they didn't get a contractor there to fix it.
Okay. That's right.
Perfect.
That's right.
If they opted in.
Yes. And that's the thing, that's another reason why we wanted to separate them. You had some people thought, well, for me to get this adjustment, I got to have a licensed plumber come out and fix this. No, you can fix it yourself. If you can, if we want them to know you can fix this yourself. You can have a licensed plumber come out. You can have a neighbor come out, whoever. Just get it fixed. We're going to pay the high water bill, if that makes sense there. Yeah. But they have to do it within 90 days. After that, it's excessive, and we'll let them know we can only cover the 90 days. If it's taking too long, unless a plumber comes out and says, look, we have a lot of issues here, it's hard to get to this area, it's gonna take us this, this, and this, then, yeah, we can work with that. But if it's just excessive, you haven't got it repaired, then, yeah, after the 90 days, we're only gonna cover, you know, from when you called us and let us know about it, up to 90 days, and that's it.
Now, the home repairs, I guess there'll be a detailed breakdown of what the cost you will cover on those also, because I do recall a pipe busting under a house, and it caused some damage, and it was a fairly significant amount of damage under the house, or maybe in an attic, and hurt the ceiling, but there was a coverage on that. Is there limits on that, even though that's really not a question for us? I want to make sure whatever we're selling to the public, we're selling it accurately.
Yes, so that's a great question there. So with this other coverage, since they're not together anymore, what they get is unlimited amount of claims on their water line, unlimited amount of claims on their sewer line, unlimited amount of claims internal plumbing and drainage, right? So we cover from the meter to the home, from the home to the sewer main, and then anything underneath the slab, basement floor that runs in there. They get unlimited amount of claims on that. Now, on the exterior lines, the water and sewer lines or septic line, they get up to, I think it's 10,000 per incident. I think that's what we went up to, 10,000 per incident. It used to be 8,500, but things are going up, so we went up as well. So it's 10,000 per incident on that. The internal plumbing and drainage is 3,500 per incident. Unlimited amount of claims on that. Now, we do restoration as well. So basic restoration, right? So if they have to cut into a slab, then they'll cut into that slab, fix it, and then they'll, you know, put that back. Now, if you had tile or something like that, they're not going to put the tile back, right? You know, they're just going to kind of cover that back up with concrete or whatever. Same thing with, like, if it was in the attic or something like that. They have to cut to get to it. Yeah, they'll cut the drywall out or whatever and then put that drywall back. But if you have decorative features or something like that, it won't cover that extra there.
Luckily, that won't be on our side.
So it's, the whole thing is that the only insured on this is the purveyor.
Correct.
The homeowner, the property owner, the leaseor, or whatever, is not covered at all. That's the separate. We're the also insured under this program.
On the certain line program.
Technically, if we chose to, we could take a vote and say, okay, we want to increase every residential customer's bill by $2 to cover loss. And we don't have to send the customers any notice other than, and Stephanie, I'm fixing to go to you with this in just a minute, but because this is payable to the county and not to the homeowner, we don't have to give the user notice other than to advise them that we're increasing the water bill to provide major loss insurance to you. Okay, then my question to Stephanie would be, we've got 1,800 customers in that. How many, and this doesn't concern you, how many percentage or off the top of your head would you imagine a month with this impact that you would have an exorbitant water bill?
Yeah, well, I printed some out and brought them with me. And I mean, there's probably 8 or 10 right here, and these are over $1,000, these customers, and they are not eligible for a LEAP credit for us, and they're all from this year. And these are the ones that I just could think off the top of my head that I've spoke with over the past few months and trying to work with them. And how we do the policy now is whenever, you know, they have a leak and they're not eligible for that credit, I call them and ask them, how much can you pay? I know that you cannot pay a $1,500 water bill at one time. And so I usually expand it no more than 6 months. But I have one of these customers who has had their water now shut off for months. She has 0 water and refuses to pay it. Another customer who she told us that she was using her rent money to pay the bill because the landlord wouldn't cover it. She's now called and told us that she's going to move, so she's just not going to pay it. And then another one, hers is $1,600, and I know she's another person that rents, the person who owns the home refuses to fix the problem, and she's a single mother with several kids. So I know that having this option would positively impact our customers.
So we're talking, and I'm just numbers, that's all I'm doing.
Right, so I have 8 right here that I could think off the top of my head.
So it's a 0.5% of our total customers.
Say one month.
Sure, that is over $1,000.
So
These are
there's
not
some-
the ones that are under $1,000.
So, and that's what I was getting at for you all, and when I was looking at the leak data. With this program, we've been doing this 12 years, right? I've been doing it 5, but I've been with the company 10, okay? A utility that provides less than 2,500 connections, around 2,500 to 1,500 connections, typically you see about $20,000 worth of leak adjustment that the utility is making, if they're making somewhere around 50%, which means the customers are paying another $20,000. That's what we normally see, which comes out to about $40,000 that is coming out of either customer or utility. So that's what we see. So when you look at it, you may say, well, we only have, like she just said, we only have like 8 that are over 1,000. Well, that's only 8 that are over 1,000. You may have another 20 that's just paying the other $300, $400,
And
or whatever
none of
it is.
these are eligible for a leak credit.
And those are the ones that just, and
They all just have to pay it.
on top of that, you're asking your staff, can you keep up with X, Y, and Z that's going on when they have a lot of other things going on? So the numbers sometimes may be skewed where you don't see it. And that's what we had to talk about. I was looking at, I was trying to figure out how can I get, when I looked at the rates, I said, how can I get these rates lower? Because they're only making this amount of adjustments, which doesn't make sense. But if that's all that they're making, then we need to try to figure out a way to get this lower. But after talking, I said, oh, that makes sense. If a customer knows that they're not eligible for an adjustment, 1 or 2 things are going to happen. They're going to pay for it, or they're just going to have to move if they're a renter. And you're never going to know about it. That's not a stat to keep.
Well, I guess that's where I'm going with this. If we opt to go down this road as a reimbursement program, personally, I think we should just raise it up $2. And this is conversation around the table. I would just raise everybody's bill $2, because then we don't have the person who next door to somebody that has a major leak says, well, I don't want it, or I'm not going to use it, or I'm not going to worry about it. Just go across the board, raise the bill, because the only also insured involved in this is the county. It has nothing to do with the customer.
You are the named insured, you're correct.
What is you have an idea what just the average residential bill is?
The minimum is 27, the average now is probably 30 to 35.
So you're talking about,
1/3 of cell phone bill.
Yeah.
Or 25% of cell phone.
No, you don't have the folks using your cell phones.
Wow. One last question, and it really has nothing to do with the county side of this, but on the option for the citizens, rough idea of what that would cost a month?
Yes.
For repairs, because I'm seeing TV ads, $4.99 a month will cover up to this amount.
So, now, which TV ads?
Yeah, there's probably fine.
Yeah, so and they're ours too, right? Some of them are ours. With TV ads, right, I just want to get to that. A lot of those have a limit, 2 claims, up to $5,000 per incident. And sometimes they don't cover underneath the slab, underneath a sidewalk or something like that. So the rates that I will give you may be a little bit higher than what you see on the TV ad, and then on there it say, for your first 6 months or a year, whatever it may be. But the rate that would be for that warranty coverage on the water lines, sewer lines, internal plumbing, drainage, I want to say the sewer is like $9 a month or $9.95, something like that. And I'll get these numbers back to you. I'll give them to you tomorrow. I'll send them over to Stephanie. The water service lines are around the same, around $9.99 a month. The internal plumbing and drainage is a little bit more expensive because you have slabs and things like that you have to cut into. And I think that one runs $12.99 a month. So that's much more kind of expensive, but I will say that just like the TV ads, a lot of times when we partner with someone, they'll do a 50% discount for the first year, 2 years, 3 years, things like that. So it would chop that in half. But the main difference is they don't get unlimited amount of claims on that other, and it only will cover up typically to the property boundary, not to where their responsibility is, if that makes sense, on those TV ads. Because a lot of times they don't know who this customer is, but when we partner with you all, we make sure that we cover to where their line goes, which would be wherever that meter is, wherever that sewer main is, and such.
All right. Gentlemen, any other questions?
Are the rates shown, are they like calendar year rates? I mean, what, if we debate this for a month or two and December hits, and I mean, is this expected?
No, the rates that I have right there for the service line leak protection, that's gonna stay there. That's gonna be what it is, unless there's a way that I mean, you all put people on payment plans a lot. Unless there's a way that I can get that to try to get those numbers down lower, that would stay the same. Whether it's 90 days or
2026 increase automatically.
No. That's what I'm saying. We don't usually see a rate increase. So no, if on there it says 30 days.
One reminder, the event is one per 12 months or one per calendar year. What?
Yeah, it's one adjustment per 12 months. So if
you have one in July, you won't be eligible for another until July.
Until July, that's right.
So the ones that you said, the bills that you have in front of us now that you said are not eligible for an adjustment, remind me why they're not eligible.
Sure, so our criteria is, and I'm sorry if I told you wrong on that, but we do 1 per 12 months also. But
just no questions asked.
no, not that you have to be in good standing, so you cannot have been late on your bill, and then you have to have been a customer for at least 12 months. That's how I get your average. So in good standing and a customer for 12 months, and then no late fees or anything like that on your account. And so that's what removes them from the eligibility.
Do we have any requirement, or does this program have any requirement on the, I'm gonna call it the after-action proof of fix?
That's what I was gonna ask too, because a lot of people fill up their pools. So
Great.
we don't wanna credit
I should have went over that. Great question too. They have to show us some type of receipt, pictures, or plumber's receipt that they repaired it. Now, we don't go out and send an adjuster out, that'd make it way too much. But they have to show that they repaired it, whether that is they fixed it themselves and they took pictures of it, and then we can reach out to your staff to say, did their bill go back down to normal, or is it just constantly running? Or, like I said, they went to Ace Hardware, Home Depot, whatever, bought something, fixed it themselves, or like a plumber's receipt. We try to make it easy for them because we don't want them to feel like, and that's where, before, some felt like they had to have a plumber come out. Well, then that's more out of pocket. And to be honest, a lot of people think, if you got to pick, if you're going to have water or pay the plumber, you're going to pick the water and just deal with it later. So,
and that's what we do now too. We just require some type of proof. Some people will literally bring us like a piece of the broken pipe.
You might have a landlord that we'll just say is a bad actor, and, might try to squeeze something by for a little bit, and then you got somebody that's renting that moves.
Yeah. Well, I know in Athens, Oconee, and Barrow County, if you seek to have an adjustment to a water bill made, the repair has to be made by a licensed plumber. The licensed plumber has to submit a notarized letter saying he made the repairs, support it with photos, and then send the thing in that he signs, which includes his business license number and his plumbing license number. And there's been more than a couple of plumbers who were not very reputable that got caught in it in Athens, Clark County, that aren't doing plumbing anymore because the state pulled their license.
Your friend Chuck Carson's done that several times for me. But he is reputable.
He's not business anymore.
Well, either way.
Yeah, but there's a check and balance on that side of it that if we chose to pursue this, that could be put in place.
That's correct. Now, I'm glad to say that. However you want us to do it, is how we will do it. If you want certain requirements, That's what the requirement is. Our standard is what I presented to you. We customize it with each utility. So if you all decide, you gotta have a plumber's receipt, you gotta have this, you gotta have that, whatever it is, that's what the book, we're working, I'm working for you all, so we can create it however you want it to be. Yep.
Stephanie, just for my information, we're talking about somebody throwing up a bill, so go back to Derek's question, if somebody is allowed an adjustment, they just pay what their average bill was?
No, so I have a formula that I do, and let's say it's 30,000 gallons that went through the meter. I will, average out their bill for the entire year. Let's say they typically use 9,000 gallons a month. I double that. So they have to pay for 18,000 straight out for what it is. Then the remainder of that, I charge them at the GRP rate, which is $4.37 per thousand. So the remainder from that 12,000 will be charged at $4.37 per thousand, which means that they pay $275 of the $380 bill, I think is what we were looking at earlier.
Some of it.
Right. So they still have to pay a chunk.
So in general, to have that much of an overage, we talking about some sort of catastrophic failure, or this is somebody's got to come over, just continue to run?
So for toilets, we've seen them run up to over 20,000 gallons a month, especially in older homes that maybe have a couple toilets leaking. We've had people that leave a faucet or a hose on outside, a cattle trough, the float in it gets stuck and it's flooded out on 72 down there. Different things.
Yeah. The reason I asked that, I'm wondering if we have if the meter system that we have, does it trigger some sort of warning that
I wish I did.
because that's very common in poultry operations.
Yeah.
And that's my question. So if there is a system like that out there, do the leaks that cause these kind of overages, are they going to be enough would it trigger a meter warning system? Or is it just going to gradually increase it, and it's over a long enough period of time?
Right, so typically you'll see it peak, so 1 month will be a couple thousand gallons, 3,000 gallons, and then it's gonna shoot up, so you're gonna see that on your bill and your usage. And we run reports each month whenever we do billing and contact every single customer that has high usage to notify them, hey, did you fill up your pool, what's going on? And so then at that time, if they say, no, I didn't do anything, they could then contact them to try to get their credit started and hopefully resolve that faster. But something I wanted to add too, we do have a lot of poultry farmers that are on county water. I say a lot, we have some, and they're charged on that commercial rate. So if they're going to have coverage from a potential leak, we would need to be sure to implement that commercial side also, because that's how they're.
Yeah. And in saying commercial, would it be appropriate to assign that to a meter size as opposed to just saying commercial and residential? So if anything less than a 2-inch would be this rate, or if you're above 2 inch, it would be this rate.
That's a good idea, and I think that it should work like that, but unfortunately, with the system in Hull being older, we have a lot of commercial businesses in Hull that are on 3/4 meters. So I had to do it separate. I had to do, if you're a business, even if you're down to a 3/4, you're on the commercial rate. And if you're residential, you can be up to a 1 inch on residential, because you do have some folks that have a long line down to their house or whatever. But anything over 1 inch is automatically commercial.
That's exactly what we had in Dangersville. Almost every business along 29 has got a 3/4 meter on it.
I think we're running right along with Commissioner Adams. If we think something like that is appropriate, then we work to negotiate with whoever the provider would be to come up with the best rate structure, and then that just becomes part of the bill and everybody's up.
All right.
So that really keeps separate the repair part of it, if you want.
I like the repair being separate. That was tough. It was tough though.
Yeah, we don't want any part of that.
Absolutely.
So in all honesty, the water, having this policy to cover our water department is probably the most fair thing we can do, because when you lose water, everybody else has to pay for it. And it's better to be reimbursed by the actual problem versus spreading it out through all the other 1,800 customers in your loss mechanism. So I do appreciate your time tonight. This is a discussion period. I would probably say the vote on this would be end of November. Is when we'll have a vote on it. That way it gives us plenty of time to bounce ideas back and forth from each other and or ask you questions directly or through Stephanie.
Do you,
And first and foremost, thank you for your drive from Chattanooga. We really appreciate the presentation.
We get a list of other government entities.
Yes.
I heard you mention Zanesville, and you said Georgia Rural, but
Yes.
do we have,
Yeah, we got quite, I think we got.
they serve my other authority clients, and that's some.
That, and also you have a standard contract agreement that you guys use.
Yes.
Would you go ahead and forward that to Christina so that in the event that we chose to pursue this, our council would have the opportunity to vet the contract to make sure it's not too one-sided.
Yeah, and like I've seen it before.
Yeah.
And it's, so there's two separate programs, right? One is the insurance, so it's really an insurance policy, so it's not necessarily like it's a contract, but it's insurance, you cancel it at any time, right?
Yeah.
But I can get that.
The standardized
Regulated by the insurance commissioner?
Yes.
It is, okay.
Yes, it is. Now, the other one is a warranty program, and I can send you that contract, but.
We don't
We
need
don't
that.
need,
Okay. We would like to know the
We're gonna let
info
you-
so we can help facilitate it to our customers, but it's something we won't be participating in.
That's why I didn't put it in there.
Yeah, no, thank you. Great presentation, by the way. We really appreciate you coming. It's such a far drive, and be safe travels going home.
No problem. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, gentlemen, statements, remarks from citizens on tonight's agenda. All right, hearing none. Consider approving an intergovernmental agreement with the city of Carlton and the city of Culver for collection of municipal ad valorem taxes. Ad valorem taxes. So this is,
Yep, this is the same as the other one.
yes, same as the first ones we've done. Should be no big deal because we have them here signed by Carlton and signed by Culver. Thank you, Christina. And Lamar for working with it, and honestly, Carlton and Culver. Any discussion on these, gentlemen?
What we talked about last time, we were just waiting for their signatures, right?
It was.
Move to approve.
Second motion. Motion by Commissioner Doster, second by Commissioner Chandler. Any other discussion, gentlemen? Commissioner Chandler?
Yeah.
Yes.
yes,
Thank you, gentlemen. Just new business, this is for discussion only. Mr. Belton Hicks Jr., temporary workforce RV site, and we could really exclude the name,
Yes.
if you don't mind, because it's irrelevant. It's more of a topic of workforce RV sites.
Yeah. And I told Todd that earlier. I should have done that, and I didn't think about it. So I've been printed it, posted it, and everything.
It would be unfair. The only reason I asked Caleb is because we asked, he didn't need to come tonight. So I don't want the public to misconstrue him not being here and us talking. So take the name out of it. Temporary work RV sites. So currently, Mike can probably go into this better than me. We do not have a temporary RV policy. We do not have a temporary meaning short stay policy, 14 consecutive days in a 60-day period, and we do not have a zoning classification for such. Currently, similar to this situation, this can be done on anybody's property with one RV up to 14 days, a 60-day period. If they go to more than one RV, then they're in violation, which is code enforcement back to the magistrate judge. Mike, anything you'd like to add on top of that?
Actually, I'm trying to remember that the one RV up to 14 days.
Yeah. It's one RV up to 14
That's,
days.
I do remember that now.
That's
You're
all
right.
you stay in one.
Yeah, that's right.
Without a active building permit.
Without a building permit or, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So there lies the problem. And
I want to make a comment that, when this was discussed earlier, and because this is in District 4, the issue came up in there. And I guess there's some more talk about similar type things in District 4. And as we looked at this, since there's not anything there, it's pretty well a moot point on doing this until we got something in place. And my feeling says to District 4, this is just it. I would not be for doing any kind of, setting any precedents to do this until we've got something in place that says, give some guidelines on how to do all this stuff. Because, you know, I think we're just opening up a can of worms if we let one person, because I can tell you right now, there'll be multiple people that's gonna say, I'm gonna do the same thing.
Well, and I had talked to Eddie about this too. I'm like, okay, if we're gonna do a workforce, that we need something on like a company letterhead that explains the job, how the length of the job, what's needed, required,
We need
and that kind of thing. But this will be totally something completely separate than campgrounds and RV parks
I agree.
altogether.
I agree, but, I mean, that's what I'm saying, we need to get all of these issues.
So I put it on the agenda because we have this situation and we don't have a solution.
But the solution,
that
but
they're not
I wanna state this from mine, and nothing against anybody. But this has been done, but it's actually been in violation
Yes,
the whole time.
correct.
And so whenever it was brought to my attention that it was in violation, it was brought forward to say, okay, you know, we can't be doing this, we don't have any provision for this. This was brought up because I think some people in the community brought it forward. And so if it's in violation and it's brought forward to let something like that continue, then what we do is we say it's okay to do that, or we sanction some of that to do that. And then we have other people saying, why can't I do that?
I think that's a perfect example of the situation.
Yeah. And so I think, I'm not against us having that, but I think we need to get that in writing of what the requirements are, whether we can get some agreement on that, and do this and say, you know, what is the zoning? Where can you do this at? Just because somebody's been doing it and they've been doing it in this area, that's not necessarily that it's been appropriate in that area.
It would require a text amendment to the zoning ordinance. And I found, there aren't a lot of those, but I did find one in Lincoln County, and I sent that to the chairman's office. There may be some others in Georgia. That's just, I didn't look extensively, but there are some examples out there.
Right, so a text amendment, explain sort of, what does that mean?
So that's amending the wording of your zoning, so you add a provision to your zoning ordinance that covers everything you just said.
Okay, yeah, I got you.
And
So, I mean, we could do it through that.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
yeah, I thank you, Commissioner Kirk, because I think you're spot on, with that recommendation. And in all respect to the magistrate judge, he did not dismiss this. He had delayed it, postponed it, in hopes that the BOC could find out more information as to how to potentially make this work. So, with that being said, we have our clear answer. We do not have a current defined answer to how it's going to work, so he will need to put it back to magistrate for the enforcement of it. At this time, you know, my only thought, that text amendment could be in a business or industrial zone, and it be company, for instance, the only one we're aware of in this county, honestly, is Williams Pipeline. If Williams Pipeline has workers that come in to stay, then Williams Pipeline needs to come to us and say, we're going to set up some sites on our property in our industrial zone for our out-of-town workers that come in periodically. And I think that would be what the text amendment needs to look like. But we can flush that out amongst ourselves probably in a retreat. I think that's the best plan moving forward.
Yeah, I don't want anybody to misconstrue it. I'm not against doing that, but I would like for it to be, you know, we've got our requirements and we've got it written, and so it's clear to everyone that's looking to do that, these are the requirements. And so that not every person who decides that has, I mean, I'm talking about farmers, and I love farmers, but farmers could decide, you know, if you do this, I'm going to have a worker come, and I'm going to put a camper out there and have the worker live in that camper.
Instead of an established trailer.
That's right.
Or house.
Yeah, because they just happen to have a camper.
Yeah.
And they're going to come out there and work 6 months or 7 months, you know, or maybe they got something else going on, you know, and then that just creates issues. I want it to be.
Yeah,
Like
I would suggest reaching out to Georgia Planning Association or some outside resources like that. We don't need to reinvent the wheel.
No.
I would guess this is probably more common in rural areas where there's not hotels and that sort of thing available.
Well, even if they are, like Katrina, when we traveled for those, we stayed in state parks, but we had to follow, at the time, the state parks fell under an emergency declaration,
Right.
which allowed us more than 14 days. But it was strictly,
Oh, yeah.
I thought about that. We also don't have anything in our zoning ordinance for natural disasters. I know, my cousins-in-law down in Florida lived in an RV in their driveway for well over a year when the hurricane came through.
yeah, I mean,
That's a good,
we
that's a
probably
great
need to
point.
look at that, because if, Michael, that went,
Yeah.
thank goodness it went right, had it went through Athens, we would have looked like North Carolina.
Well,
And we would be encumbered for a long time, a bunch of us.
if you could have a lot of things happen. I mean, as many gas pipelines we got coming through here.
Oh, yeah.
You could have stuff like that, and I mean, Williams and plantation. And so then you might have a bunch of people that need to be in here temporary and just need to be whatever. So I can see that too. It's all right. All that needs to be done. It's just another one of the zoning issues that needs to be taken care of.
Well, Athens, here again, to go back to Athens, Clark County, because I've had employees that did this, had one of these facilities. It was on North Avenue, right down below the DFAX and Department of Labor office. On the left right there, which is now closed because it's going to become apartments.
Mm-hmm.
But there was one in Athens, Clark County, and there were a number of people, when major projects took place, particularly at UGA, that utilized that and lived. But here again, Athens, Clark County has water and sewer hookups available for those.
Yeah.
You know, because this is a real, forgive me, but this is a real can of worms.
Yeah. It is.
Yeah.
I appreciate all the comments on this, and especially the caution, Brian. Thank you. All right. Discuss adding serve line. Okay, I think we've put that off.
Yeah,
Unless
this
y'all want
was
to talk
just
about
to, the board want me and Stephanie to move forward with the contract and start to draft and really work through the weeds. If y'all are interested in offering this service, then we can.
Yeah, I think
Extend our
Commissioner Adams
conversation.
has already expressed, go ahead and send that over and let us take a look at it.
All right.
So we'll just move on down.
As far as that, not just maybe you had on the ones that you pulled tonight, maybe just a little deeper dive on, kind of make some expectation, or maybe current status, a snapshot of where we are, like, what would be in arrears? Just like,
Or maybe just whatever you sent to Mr. Dansby for him to do the estimates, to the starting place.
there you go, Ken.
See, the county is a little bit at a disadvantage, I'll tell you, versus the city. So the city, if you moved out, the city water bills was in the property owner's name, even if it was renters. So if a renter moved out, the property owner was responsible to pay the water bill, or we would lock it out. And you could not get it unlocked until that bill was paid. But in the county, we don't have that policy.
Do we not do that?
It's the renters can come apply for their own water meter.
Well, I can tell you from personal experience in Bear County, we had a rental house there for a while. I had a rent, we had one move out with some bill, but even though the bill was in her name, I could not reestablish service until that was paid by someone, which was a lot. I had to.
We will need to polish that ordinance because ours does not state
I
that.
would love that policy.
Yeah.
But there's a problem right there. And I'll be honest, when we done that, it made a lot of landlords mad. We said, and we literally said to them, that was my favorite line, was you need to put better tenants in there that wouldn't leave in the middle of the night.
I was not mad at Bear County, I was mad at my tenant, but that's,
Yeah, but we need to polish that ordinance.
We're printing some water.
Yeah.
So the intent would be to whacking me in the back of the head, the address, not to a name.
Correct.
Okay.
So if you don't wanna do that, then you
Still
will.
be the renter,
Huh?
but then, could the renter still pay the monthly bill, but then if they leave it $200, property owner would then pick up the remainder?
No, you don't worry about me, the renter owns the account, posts the security deposit and all of that. but you keep up with it by property as well as by renter. So you will not furnish service, you will not reestablish, once service has been disconnected, you don't reconnect it to that property until past amounts associated with that property are paid.
See, that's where Georgia Power
Came back and
Jackson.
said, well, I'm just moving in, and you could say, call the property owner.
Yeah.
Call somebody.
Yeah, and property owner is actually in breach of even.
So Georgia Power Jackson
terms.
MC
Yeah.
has that in place. If you run off with a delinquent power bill, when you go to get it somewhere else, they're gonna catch you by name.
Right.
Because they're the sole provider. But here, by water can change districts or service providers, you don't have that opportunity to hold them accountable.
It's by property. Tag
Yeah.
parcel number.
Perfect, perfect. Well, now we have a plan. Great job.
I love
Very
that.
good.
Also, John,
Next thing
to
I-
see if there are other providers other than just self-serve.
Oh, okay.
This is the only one that I'm aware of.
Yeah.
And we searched for one, but we was trying to figure out a way to help our customers because we just had so many
Right.
leaks.
Yeah, I mean, my experience is limited, but it's the same as yours. I'm guessing they must be doing a pretty good job because no competitors coming in.
Consider approving, gentleman number 10, consider approving resolution to establish qualification fees for 2026. You okay?
Yeah.
Because you're gonna have to explain this one.
Based on, that's established,
It is.
based on
Yeah, these are based off of salaries per paid positions. I reached out to Board of Education, got their numbers. Our HR lady, she calculated the rest. We do these every election year. These are the legislative positions that are available, that are going to be up for re-election next year. So,
these qualifying fees be approved as presented.
I have a motion by Commissioner Adams, second by Commissioner May. I said Chandler and May, my fault.
All right.
Any other discussion, gentlemen? Hearing none, Commissioner May?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. All right, consider approving a $40,000 grant commitment, for the Recreation Department. Are you here to explain this one, young lady?
I'm here to answer questions. I put about what I know about it on the memo that I sent. Basically, if you go back to the master plan, one of the two things struck me. One was the most requested items were outdoor walking trails and fitness centers, which we have essentially none that meet the criteria for accessible or safe in terms of being able to get service vehicles if you needed to. The other was the one place that we have some property that was basically ideal is over at Diamond Hill Park, which I did not know 3.5 years ago that the woods up behind the ball field are actually on the county property. And without making that as a priority from my discussions with the master plan folks, I was a little surprised that in their plans, they drew out this proposal, which is to put a walking trail on that property. The Recreation Trails Program, Shelley and I looked at the Georgia Outdoor Stewardship, we're looking at developing that way. And then you realize that practically all of that grant ties to water access. And we don't have a whole lot of parks except Briar's Landing that would meet that qualification. And that did not seem to be a good path to go down at this particular time. Although those of us that have kayaks would like to see some improvements there. But then when the Recreation Trails grant comes up almost immediately, here's an opportunity. So it is a proposal to do 1.5 miles, probably all total from trailhead to trailhead. It's a 20% matching grant. And because so much of it is construction that can be done, a great deal of it, I think, by the county, the in-kind probably will offset a big part of this $40,000. But in writing for a $200,000 grant, the cash match would be the 40,000. It can be met by in kind.
All right, thank you. And gentlemen, we talked about this a little bit. Madison County does not have walking trails currently that allow campers. We do not allow them at Sammy Haggard Park. This would be ideal location if we chose to create one, because that's one of the things we catch the most comments on or calls about with our trail system is why can't I take my dog walking?
Well, another thing I wanted to point out too, this is it's a $40,000 commitment to be awarded at the end of 2026, to be a project done in 2027.
Correct.
So this is something we can keep in mind for our 2027 budget. This is not monies that has to be a check written and mailed this year. It's just a commitment.
It's a reimbursement grant like those land and water conservation. And the proposal, in talking with Alan, is also for a hard surface, similar to the track at Sammy Haggard, but one that you could use certain types of wide wheelchairs, strollers. Mamas are always, is there a place that we can push babies in the shade? No. So it meets just a whole lot of those kind of issues. And making it ADA accessible within the requirements is really, on this property, quite easy.
I think most everybody here knows on 80/20 grants, I try not to let any of those slip by just because they're so rare.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I was explaining to one of the participants of the senior center, if I give you 20 cents and you give me $1, I'll take it every day of the week.
In regards to funding this, the portion of it that could not be work in kind, in the event that the SPLOSH were to pass, would this be a qualifying thing for that?
We would have to look at how we worded the SPLOSH.
But it should be, I think.
Yeah, I think it says.
Wasn't there something in there about rec department?
Yeah.
Feel confident, I mean, without double checking the language, I'm confident it would be.
Improvements.
So gentlemen, I'll entertain a motion on this
I'll
one.
make a motion.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Adams, second by Commissioner Kirk.
I just have one question, in undertaking like this, what are the security features? There's gonna be a lot of that's gonna be invisible, or will it be security cameras, or how does that?
There's two ways. One way with the security, written with what they call squeeze styles. Think of it, you've seen where cattle can't go in, but a person can.
Mm-hmm.
Squeeze styles are used a whole lot in areas like this because that also means that four-wheelers can't go in unless you've got locks to the gate beside it for security vehicles. The piece that's on private property, that adjoins private property, because two sides are on the roadfront, already is fenced. And so, again, think Briar's Landing, where the need for private property do not enter. But security, yes, it's a problem, but it's really no bigger of a problem than you have right now at soccer complex at Brewer Phillips, because there is 1,001 ways to get into Brewer Phillips and do whatever you want.
I wouldn't think so much about access. I think if a trail user, hopefully this never would happen in Madison County, but like situation at the university where that young lady was attacked on the trail. So.
And I think there again, as soon as this is over and I get back full speed ahead with land and water conservation, one of the things that we really need to look at is some gates and opening and closing times to improve that. I walked and took pictures for this grant started about 5:45 last week, came out of the woods about 7:15. And it was sort of real interesting to sort of watch the comings and goings in that lower part of the park.
Just get a little concerned about isolated areas.
Isolated
Heavy traffic
areas.
we
Yeah.
think about it too much, isolated areas like that.
Yeah.
I'm sure that with technology we got today, we could put some.
There's a way to do
There's
it.
a
Oh,
way
yeah.
to put some cameras in there that could be capturing things that's going on. And I'm sure too that with that, because you don't have to have everything wired, that if you could have some stations along there, which you see in some areas where if somebody has a problem, they punch a button and it alerts sheriff's department or somebody
Yep.
that,
Yeah, security buttons,
yeah,
anytime you start looking at fitness
Well,
trainers, so one of the
that's part
things
of
you
the
want.
plan.
yeah.
Right.
That's part of the plan.
All right, appreciate it.
I'm on board, I'm hoping to get the application in so we can see what comes out of that. And just looking at a couple things on this though. I'm not sure, because I've seen it, I won't say it's highly successful, but I don't see a lot sometimes based in my business, the fitness stations. So if we want to plan something, if we get the grant, we start planning it. We can plan ahead and do that, but I'm a little suspect on those getting used. I think the walking trails and those things get used greatly. It's just, I don't want to see us putting some money in something that we don't think we may use. So we might look at that a little closer. And the security issue, I was, being down in that hole, I would, not that we can't overcome it with technology, but, as part of the planning effort, if we get the grant, then we definitely need to be looking at, cell covers, those kind of things. Because sometimes you find you in a spot and you can't get it. And that goes along the line of sight, back in the building, those kind of things for different technology.
One of the things I discovered, interesting company that I've worked with on another project, that does trail design, is home base here in Madison County, Holcomb Bridge Road. And this is one of the things that they're really expertise in, and I firmly believe in using the local people when we can. But they've done some really nice work addressing those kind of things and security down at Pine Mountain, where you start talking about miles and miles and miles of trails, so.
The other thing, just to make sure, as this is going in, it talks about reimbursable costs can be for this, and this. What level of design and engineering set of plans is required for final approval?
The design and engineering piece is capped at 15% of the total cost of the grant.
Well,
And
for reimbursement,
for reimbursement.
yeah. But that's my point, is sometimes when you get in there and start asking somebody to design a bridge, even though it's a pedestrian bridge, and all those
Right.
guys that work in my industry, it can get costly fairly quick.
And that's where routing to minimize the length of the bridge, because again, as Alan said, the width of the bridge is more important than the length, that you put it in the right place, because he wants to be able to get that security vehicle over.
We know.
And there's definitely some things that will be considered in the storm. You can put the contract for stormwater management is not design and engineering. That's down the whole.
Well, I'll say this, I tell my clients all the time, free money ain't free, so just
Absolutely.
be aware.
So we know this great bridge designer,
I heard he's done some trails.
trails, the bridge, this bridge has got all kinds of trails.
Is there a point in the process where the county would have to commit to completing the project, even if it goes over the $200,000 total, with the 80-20 match?
Not the way this one is designed.
Okay.
And again, it goes pretty much back to land and water conservation. When you start writing these things, I went back and looked at that LWCF. My initial notes on that's 2013. And here we're just now talking about the money. When you're writing 2 years out and projecting a budget, the folks in Atlanta, unfortunately, this is administered through the Department of Natural Resources instead of straight through Washington, will work with amendments. And I guess, again, Brewer Phillips is the best example, I know of in the area, there were 11 amendments before they ever got that thing off the ground, because they did not know how much granite was involved. So to answer your question, yes, there's examples and we've
It
experienced.
should have been 12, a flat spot somewhere. Anyway.
We
all right.
we can talk hindsight, maybe a different location.
Commissioner Kirk?
Yeah.
Good.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
All right, motion carries.
Yeah.
Consider approving the 2026 Board of Commissioners holiday schedule. Christina has it laid out before you. If anybody has a problem with any of those dates, please let us know.
Would be approved, please?
Motion to approve by Commissioner Chandler. Second by Commissioner Kirk. I already had your name. 26, consider approving the 2026 Board of Commissioners meeting schedule.
You need to all those.
Oh, I'm sorry.
There.
Yes.
Any discussion? Derek, yes?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Motion carries. Consider approving the Board of Commissioners meeting schedule.
Move, approve.
Second. Motion by Commissioner Doster, second by Commissioner Chandler. Any discussion? Dennis Adams, Commissioner Adams?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Discuss a complex closure for December 26th.
So this is, we've had some staff, actually some department heads and elected officials reach out to Todd about this. We are closed Wednesday and Thursday, that is Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. Those are paid employee holidays. We are not closed Friday, December 26th. We have had some elected officials ask about closing their office, if we were going to leave the complex open. In doing so, I did go ahead and reach out to Mike, and he's going to have to correct me on this, but employees will be allowed to obviously use their vacation time and comp time to fill in those Fridays. If the board decides to close the complex, we don't have to pay them for that Friday that the complex is closed. Employees can use their comp time and vacation time.
Or they could choose not to and go unpaid.
Yes, yeah, or
Correct.
just
That's
for
the
like
third
8 hours.
Yeah.
But elected officials are wanting to know, we all close the complex down, and if not, we all let them close their offices.
Most everything else is closed.
It is. It'll be a ghost town.
Caterpillar's closed.
I would not allow optional department closing. I think you either close your.
I just think we shut the whole thing down.
Do you have, are you talking about this building here?
Yes.
So it'd be
All
this
county
building, the
parks.
senior center,
Road
the
department.
rec department, the road department, it'd be everybody except for EMS and
Emergency.
nine-one-one sheriff.
Yeah, I was just, that was one of the other things we mentioned through the emails, that, are there any of the constitutional officers that are required to be open that day?
No, not that I'm.
Okay.
No.
Just need to make sure of that.
Yeah, I mean, the on-call, yes, corner,
He's talking about clerk of court.
oh, yeah, no.
Yeah, like close report.
Yeah, no, there's that, the other one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That might be, just for discussion, but is that the only day that somebody might be off work to come in to pay a tag, or? Well, that's the only one I'm thinking about.
Yeah.
I think everybody else probably work around.
I don't see following a back-to-back day within the last day of the week. I don't think it would be an inconvenience. We'd just make sure that there's no late fees. There would be no late fees applied to it for missing that day.
Yeah, it's just announced in advance the complex.
Yeah.
Can it go, we close for
Oh, yeah.
Christmas,
Yeah. We got money
25 and
still.
26.
He's still in the year, well,
Yeah.
That's why I raised the constitutional officer question. It also taxes good things if there's state laws that, like, back when I did litigation, we run into that in small counties. It's not a state holiday. The clerk of court's office is supposed to be open to file that answer, but show up, the door shut, what you gotta do. So
Right.
We will verify
They
tomorrow. with
they need to make sure they have accommodation.
We'll follow
for
up
that.
with them, but if there's no hiccups, the motion to close from Commissioner Kirk, and a second. Second by Commissioner Adams. And any other discussion? Commissioner Chandler?
yes, yes, yes.
Good.
Yes.
All right, now, if anything changes on the constitutional officers, we will update you ASAP. Consider surveying a 3-acre parcel out of Madison Drive for the Board of Commissioners. This gentleman was, I brought it up a couple years ago, and then I think it got brought up here just recently about the one parcel we have, it's around 12, 13, 14 acres at Madison Park. There is a 3-acre section that will meet, wellhead protection in both directions for both of our wells there, with more than 150 feet, and still be able to carve out 3 current acres off Matico Drive that, the Board of Commissioners cannot sell, but that we could, facilitate over to the IDBA, and then they can sell, as the Board of Commissioners cannot sell property, but the IDBA can. But it
The
would.
Board of Commissioners can convey property to another government entity.
Correct. But this would create a new industrial parcel for sale in our current park. It really, if you've been down there recently, you will notice the property that we own, the lower end, was designed as the entire parcel's, retention pond. This is the upper section up on the hill. There is a flat spot there. 3 acres is plenty for, and up to a 10, 15, 20,000 square foot building and parking. So I talked to the IDBA board about it. They said just be cautious with wellhead protection. I drew it out, sent it to Gary Harvin, and asked him to show us an outline of the parcel. And then if we choose to do that, we will cut it out by vote and
That's what I need to know, does the board want us to have the surveyor cut out 3-acre parcel?
It may be 3 1/4, it's gonna be whatever we can use.
Whatever you can fit in the postal way.
Correct.
Yeah.
Would it be in the conveyance of this piece of property, and I know we've talked about this a couple of times, it would not be the intent for this property to be sold in speculation to someone to do something down the road with it.
No.
They've got time, they've got a year or whatever to put something on the property.
I feel like with that, the way we've discussed what you're talking about, and because of the old 25-year-old one, it was from 1980
Yeah.
something, and how bad that was written, that it would be in the sale agreement, that there would be a time frame. It is not for investment properties, and it's the same way the new industrial park the IDBA is building on 72. There'll be complete guardrails defining it, because we don't want somebody to gobble up the property set on it 15 years. That's not the intent. The intent is to move.
Off the top of my head, we may want to structure that as a right of first refusal back from or an option back from the buyer.
That's a great idea.
So,
Mandatory.
So, yeah, it can be done, but that would, once it's conveyed from the Board of Commissioners to the IDBA, they would then have to build that structure.
You got a pretty good working relationship with their legal counsel too, don't you?
At times.
Depends on what day it is.
Check on Mr. Knight. Yeah.
Commissioner Dawson, to the wheel.
Yes, I support the carving it off, the component of not letting somebody get it speculative and just sit on it for, that's not what we're about. So whether it's some sort of language that can be conveyed in the sale agreement, or if it's a lease to purchase agreement, or if it's just a straight ground lease, or if there is a more appropriate mechanism to do that, to provide what I think the intent of the body is to create some business development. I'm up for it. I may not be the right person to know the exact conveyance.
I think it depends on a better structure to do it, and also the seller, which would be the IDBA, has to exercise diligence to follow up on it. You know, exercise it within a reasonable period of time, and probably not going to be able to.
And one caveat to it, the IDA would have to be mindful of is the buyer and the buyer's intent. Obviously, it would not go to something that could potentially harm the groundwater that would affect our well, even though it's outside the wellhead. So, I mean, it'll be clearly defined. I think they'll do a good job with that. So, all right. Well, I don't need a motion to move forward on a plat. I just need a motion when we get ready to convey it.
Right.
All right. Okay. Road updates. All right. Feed mill Homer well connection project. Rodney has requested updated material quotes from 3 vendors. Project is currently on hold, funded by federal dollars.
They're on vacation out there.
Yeah, they're all on vacation. I will say that this is a reimbursement project, so if we had any inkling as to when the government may open, we may forward with the purchase of material, because that'll be the first thing. Pretty excited to get this moving, because this has been a long grant. So Rodney has our 3 quotes now. On the 3 vendor quotes, 2 was really close, I want to say within $9,000 of each other, but there was several items missing. It was not an apples to apples, even though the piece of paper we give them was, one left off 2 or 3 items, the other left off 2 or 3 different items. So we're having them re-quote those to include those, so we have an actual amount. But that's where we are with the Comer feed mill project. Comer's excited because they're going to get a redundancy connection and a vault down there, and then we'll be able to move forward with testing that well. ARC grant, stream discharge department is working with Carter and Sloop on revisions of a SOP and asset management plan to meet grant requirements. This grant, guys, has been, it started out seamless and easy, and all of a sudden they changed the game on us. We have made the state cut, I will tell you that. It is on the federal cut, and this is for the expansion of our current wastewater treatment plant and the river discharge,
In whole?
In whole. We'll do 2 folds there. We'll be able to get our stream discharge, do away with the drip field, and double the capacity of the plant. So we're waiting. We're in a waiting game. It could be tomorrow that we get the word that we either got it or don't got it, but we won't know how to move forward until the federal government opens up. Griffith Road, CDBG, County, NEGRC, AMT Engineering, CDBG met on 10/22 to discuss deadline goals for a project over the next 18 months. Next step is the post-award public hearing set for 11/10/25, November 10th, 2025. Yes, this is the water line that will go from Highway 106 over to Stone Stewart and on down to Shady Lane. That's correct. I do have to give special attention, a recognition to Stephanie Wilson, because the big check that we get come with a qualifier nobody knew about. Last minute on a Friday afternoon at 4:45, we got notified by the regional commission that somebody needed to be in Macon on Monday morning at 10 a.m. for a 2-day class in order to be grant eligible, which put us in panic mode because I had Jekyll, Christina had something, Lacey had something, so we reached out to Stephanie and Rodney. She was in Perry over that weekend. She came home just to change clothes and turn around and drive back to Macon, because in several phone calls till about 8 or 9 o'clock that night with Regional Commission and ARC, somebody has to be present or you don't get no grant. Even though we'd already had the award, we were going to be kicked out of the award. Yeah. And not only couldn't just show up for the award, but you had to attend a 2-day class as to how to administer the award. These are all brand new items that we'd never heard about. But Stephanie did do that for us last minute, and thank you, because we brought home $1 million because of it.
Checks in the mail. Check that the idea.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, she brought it home with her. The Sanford Loop connection, all 12-inch line has been installed and pressurized, awaiting sampling and pressure test. Half of the 8-inch line has been installed up to date. James Holcomb well addition, well number 9, is set to be online by October 31st, 2025, meaning in a few days. We did have a setback. We thought it was going to be online Friday, and we were missing a part, and it had to be ordered. Man, again, I can't brag on our water department enough. They're just absolutely doing a great job, and they're staying on top of every item. Unfortunately, Rodney now knows what I put Alan through with all the sticky notes for each day's worth of jobs and all of Todd's questions, but I do appreciate it, because I know he reaches out to you for a lot of those answers. But great job, y'all. GRP was offline October 1st through the 7th, resulting in a change of flow. Citizens may have reached out during this time considering a discolored water. GRPA routinely goes offline a few times throughout the year for maintenance, and that was one of those issues in case you got a phone call. In talking about that topic, I've asked Rodney to look into going ahead and installing a pump or getting our sizing of pumps for our Commerce water line connection. So when we do go offline, when we abruptly shut our wells down like that, it causes a lot of issues in the pipes. It stirs up a lot of sediment when stuff starts flowing back and forth. And had we have had our pumps in, we would have been able to just throttle our wells back instead of a complete shut-off, and we could have went ahead and sold water to Commerce, which most all of you know, Commerce and Banks County got water issues, water shortages, and we are working on a plan to get water to them in the near future. I had a meeting last week with Banks County and Commerce about such water talks. We are still waiting on drilling our wells at Seymour's property. I know Seymour's is chomping at the bits to come in and get before planning and zoning about rezoning that back half of that industrial park. And I put them on hold due to, I want to make sure that we've got the water capacity to support that industrial development. If we do end up having the water that we think we're going to have there, then we will have a grand opportunity to help Banks and Commerce out with water up on that end of the county. So a lot of good things going on in the water department. I emailed you guys out this earlier today, and it's just a buy, sell, water purchase stuff. Stephanie's here if you have any questions for her regarding that, or if you'd like to send her an email directly and asking questions on it, you're welcome to. So that is the road and water department updates. Everybody's aware of why the Mill Bridge opened. They are currently working on culvert Danielsville Road. They are under the bridge. This was a bridge that did not have to be closed during maintenance, so maintenance is going on as traffic is crossing. Statements and remarks from commissioners. Gentlemen, do you have any road updates that I need to know about, that I need to be working on for you?
Just comment on the dirt road portion of Young Harris Road that the road department has been spending a good bit of time on. And for whatever, I think most of those people are probably supposed to be in District 4, because no matter what happens, you cannot leave them. But they are, road department's gone over and above, scratch everybody's itch, and I've got to thank them for their efforts.
I've been trying to expand District 2 too.
I think that's on your side's line.
Well, Commissioner Adams, do you have anything, bud?
Yeah, it's the construction of the roads development as we start to see the end of phase 1, that being the clubhouse and the golf course, and the water line construction and the power line construction now that Jackson EMC is doing there. I would like for the Sanford Road and a preliminary site plan that I saw indicated that the entrance to the roads potentially is going to come off of Pelican Springs now. We need to look at repaving those two roads, particularly Pelican Springs, because it's one of the roads that is tar and gravel and red clay.
Gotcha.
And if that were to take place at the crossroads of Sanford Road, Nowhere Road, Sawdust Road, and Sigrace Mill Road, we have got a little area up there that's not quite in the center of the road, but it's about the size of this spot here that's never been paved. If we could do that.
Incorporate that into it?
If we could work that into it, I would appreciate it.
All right.
Want to make a round.
So,
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, if you'll give me $1 general, yeah, give me a roundabout.
When you look at that entrance, is that an alteration of a plan that we have already approved? And if so, can it happen?
yeah, so those drawings got turned into us, at P and Z. What's today? Today's Monday. Okay. Then they got turned in Friday. And they're in preliminary, they're still just looking at them on the residential side, but we can look at that and see what their plan is right there. I haven't even had a chance to look at them yet.
And the residential does cover off the Helican.
I don't remember if there was like 17 conditions, and I don't remember entrance being part of that, but we need to look at that.
Yeah, I don't remember an entrance being that way, and I thought the main entrance was coming off Sanford, just to be honest.
That's what I thought,
Thought it'd
too.
come in second. And I saw it, I saw the plan of the houses, because they got a real unique road system in there, and I really liked it. But I don't remember now which one it comes off of, so I need to double check those, but they are in P and Z, if you want to stop by and take a look at them. As far as the road itself, obviously, if they're going to continue being construction over the next potential 12 months, you really don't want to go in there and do anything to get done, so they got a nice finished road.
No, we're doing resurfacing, patching, and widening on Stanford Road next year.
Correct. There's a 2-foot widening coming down
Yeah,
for that road.
yeah.
And there's gonna be a lot of patching and widening, so we can make sure we fix that while we're there.
Well, like I said, I saw the preliminary or revised site plan or whatever it's called at the site, and it would appear that there's still gonna be an entrance, and I had no objection to it.
It's probably the construction interest to keep them off that main road more than likely.
I don't believe that there's a connection, traffic connection indicated at this time between what would be the entrance to the clubhouse and golf course and support buildings and the residential area, and I don't have, here again, I don't have an objection to that, and I would understand the reasoning behind that, because at the end of the day, there are gonna be a number of residences, I believe, on that property that will not be members of the quote, Rose Golf Club. So I could.
Yeah, and you may be right,
you know.
because he did state that members got the first choice of lots, and then if they didn't sell all of them, or all the members didn't want them, they would open it up to public residents. So you may be 100% correct. I'll get a copy of that tomorrow and send it out to everybody.
And then staff will look at it, because I also remember, I thought there was connectivity in there, and I thought part of that purpose, and again, I'm going on memory, so please don't quote me. But I thought part of that purpose was like some of the, I'll call them cabins or other type of units. My point being is, I don't think we want a bunch of golf carts having to shoot out one side of the road to come around to go into the entrance.
No, there is an interconnectivity, but I think you're just
cart,
it's a
that's
cart
gonna be
interconnectivity.
cart traffic.
We just need to look at that. Part of it.
And
Has
here again, that's a fight that I've already had, so,
Yeah.
you know, it's just something that I recognize because I drive through the Helican Springs Road every day, and a bulk of the construction traffic is utilizing the Helican Springs Road because it's just the.
Easiest way to go.
Yeah. All right. I will definitely get a copy of that tomorrow, screenshot of it, and send it out to y'all, just so y'all can proof it early.
I did find it real quick. I vaguely recall that in the zoning conditions that Commissioner Chandler was talking about, there was a line for substantial conformity to the attached site plan. And I think one preliminary plat's already been approved by the board, hasn't it?
There has, but you're fixing to get another one with the actual drawings. Like, they kept the major concept, they just changed some of the interconnectivities of the roads and some of the cart paths.
I guess my point was the preliminary plat gives the board another checkpoint to look back at the site
100%.
plan and see if they feel it's insubstantial to the board.
100%.
Site plan and conditions.
All right. Commissioner, May, any road things I need to look at? right, gentlemen, urgent matters, not that I'm aware of. Executive session, discuss real estate acquisition, personal matter, potential litigations.
No, sir.
Commissioner Doster.
Move adjourned.
Gentlemen, that's how you do a meeting. That was great.
There's more paper.
It was long, but it was a great meeting. I know, right? That was an hour. So Brian, if you took that guy off, I'd have had you out here in 55 minutes, sir.
That's all right.
That was good.
Water.
Take it all over that way.
More quickly and efficiently.
Take it all over that way.
Yeah.
We're covered up in positive. We just can't figure out how to get off the positive. We don't have any problems.
Yeah.
We just got a lot of positive.
Oh, we didn't get it.
How to get off the positive.
She texted me
We don't want to have
that.
negative. We just have a whole bunch of positive. We figure out how to get it all done.
8 cards for that.
It's a hell of a note. A lot of irons.
Which was fine, I
We got all
was, did my card out after I left.
Somebody else.
Yeah, so, anyway, so I was texting her and she's like, get there, send that to me, and I'm like, I'm still fine, I'll get it.
You guys followed up 3 times.
Well, that's Virginia's gonna do it.
It won't be ready now.
No.
You know.